Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first week of Get Over Yourself. I'm Eilers-Heffner. I'm a Sapphire ambassador, and I'm so pumped. I think this is probably the third time that we've done this book. And there's every time that I've gone through it, I am highlighting new, different things, different stuff is standing out. Those important reminders are coming back out, and it's just really great, right? So we want to keep this book on like replay, I swear. And I said that the last time that we did this book too. So anyway, in the introduction, she just really talked about, she was very successful. Her husband had a successful career. There was no financial need for them to like pay their bills and do what they needed to do to provide for their family, but there was a desire to break free from the pay for service, right? So that hourly job or a salary job is basically an hourly job. A salary job is probably more hours than what you're actually getting paid, right? You're salaried at 40 hours at this amount of money and you end up working 45 hours or 42 hours or 50 hours or whatever. And then pay for service, like those hourly jobs, like punch in, punch out. You're only getting paid when you are working. And that is such the beauty of this. I've been really talking to people about that. Like, you like to be busy, you like to work. Why not do something that as you work, you're going to continue to get paid on those efforts, no matter if you're working or not. And if you want to work because you like it and you like that time out of the house or whatever, like keep working. Like, why wouldn't you have multiple streams of income? And, I've done both. I've worked, I've not worked, I've worked part-time, and it doesn't matter. Like, I can still prioritize my business no matter how many hours that I'm working and no matter what is going on. And obviously life happens and things shift and move, but it's my business has always been a priority. So really wanting a richer life and just something exciting that wasn't boring. Her career was really boring. I felt that my hours at the hospital were getting pretty boring and repetitive. And part of that is because I worked a premium salary job on the weekends. And so my job was to eval patients, as well as taking care of our joint surgery patients. And that was very repetitive. And it honestly was getting boring. I hate to say that. Um, and so when I saw this opportunity to make extra money, and when I started, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but the why, I was like, I just want to be able to get a pedicure once a month and not feel guilty taking money away from the budget. I want to be able to maybe go shopping or something and not feel guilty taking money from the budget. And I wanted to do that without having to have additional childcare, additional time away from my family in order to bring in that extra money. Working more hours was definitely not something I was interested in doing. And she, I think, was very similar and just looking for that more freedom. So she talked about having a very full plate. She had a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old. She had a full-time job. Her husband had a full-time job. She was volunteering. She was teaching. She was doing things like, and she was like, well, I might as well do this too, right? Busy people know how to get things done. And so why not talk to your successful people? Like, I maybe I didn't read it close enough. Does anyone know if like someone reached out to her or she saw this and was like, hey, I want that, and she talked to somebody? I don't remember what she said. Put it in the comments or something. So anyway, just really realizing that life begins at the edge of and keeps expanding outside of our comfort zone. So when we can, and it's comfortable. I was comfortable working in the hospital. I was comfortable doing that. I was good at it. I was efficient. I knew how to juggle it. I could, read patients well. Like, I was good at it, right? And so I saw an opportunity that allowed me to expand and learn and grow in a different way too. And that was really appealing too. And it continues to be. I keep thinking, like, what else do I want to do? What else do I want to do? My kids told me probably a year ago, like, Mama, you're really smart. You should do a podcast or something. I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Maybe I should. I don't know. I feel like that is a lot of time to get a lot of content organized very succinctly. And that type of organization is probably not my strong suit, but maybe I'll have somebody helping me and I can have guests all the time on a podcast. I don't know. Anyway, so chapter 1, why people fail and why you're not going to. So I love that she just brings this up. Like, we have the power, we have the opportunity to be an entrepreneur without having to go ask investors to invest in us and borrow $50,000 or more. We don't have to go try and buy a building and figure out how we're going to heat it, cool it, shovel the snow, keep it clean, buy the toilet paper, the water heater breaks, replacing that. Like, we don't have to deal with any of that. We can literally work from our phones. There are so many people that didn't even have computers or printers when they started their business. Maybe some people still don't. They just work off their phone, and we all have a phone, right? And not having to have that overhead and being able to have the flexibility of working at 1 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whenever, which isn't always conducive when you have a brick and mortar type business or some sort of startup company or business, right? You don't have all that to deal with. No shipping, marketing, packaging, all of that. So all we have to do is talk to people. That's all we have to do, talk to people. And I love that this is something that an introvert can do and an extrovert can do. Jackie is an introvert. Elizabeth is an extrovert. We're both sapphires. We're both PTs. We both have husbands. We both have kids. And we are both successful, right? There's a lot of success happening on this call right now, right? We all are successful in what we're doing. And so it takes talking to people, and we can do that when we're able to, right? If Jackie's having a minute where she's had a lot of input, she probably isn't going to sit down and send messages. Me, if I've been talking in social, I'm going to sit down and send messages, right? And Jackie's going to go, I'm going to go take a bath for an hour and then I'm going to send my messages, whatever. This is how, like, we work differently. And when you have a business like this, you have control of when you put that time in. And then we get to share. We share about the company, the products, the opportunity. There we go. It's not easy, but it is simple. The idea behind this, the actions behind this are simple, even though it's not always easy. This is the business that is going to develop your perseverance. It's going to test your perseverance, help you build resilience, and test you just like every other worthwhile thing that we do in our life. I think that that's a misconstrued idea, is that, well, I'm going to do this Plexus thing. I put up 2 posts. I talked to 3 people. I didn't go diamond. This isn't for me. I don't want to do it. I'm not good at it, whatever. And that's just simply not true. It's like saying, well, I told my kid to stop throwing blocks. Why did they keep doing it? I can't believe this. I'm a failure as a mother. I might as well quit now. Go give the kid up for adoption. No one thinks that. No one thinks, well, it's going to take, oh, I have to keep reminding my child. I have to keep putting systems in place. I have to keep helping them remember they actually have to brush their teeth every night. Whatever it is, we're teaching them about being good humans. Maybe faith is a huge part of your home, and you're teaching them that. Like, it's never ending. And no one goes, well, I throw in the towel. That kid swore at school, and so I'm a failure as a mom. Just let me go throw all my kids up for adoption all of a sudden. No one thinks that, right? But yet we do that in this business all the time. Oh, I just give up, and not realizing that we can actually continue to grow and put that effort in, and it's going to be worth it. 3 buckets of people. She talked about this. Customers, so that's our VIPs, our business people that see this as a business opportunity, and then people that are like, no, 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 no. Those are your referral source people that you can use. We've talked about this multiple times, like, hey, are you interested? Okay, you're not. If you think of anyone that struggles with, and list out a few things, could you please send them my way? I'd love to connect with them, whatever. You're asking for a referral. You're painting the picture that these products are more than maybe what they have an impression of, something like that. And also, that person, just because they aren't interested right now, it doesn't mean that they're a no for forever. That just means you're going to use them as that referral source. You're going to keep that friendship. You're going to keep that relationship and keep circling back, because lots of diamonds were people that said no for a long time. Christina Williams was a person that used Probio 5 for over a year, and that's it, and ordered as like I don't know if she ordered as a retail, but ordered as like a preferred customer, which was not the cheapest way to go. So there you go. So she talks about reasons that of failure in this business, and that's not being coachable. So declare your coachability, like say it out loud. She says that, say it out loud. I don't care where you are, say it out loud. Like, I am coachable. I'm 100% coachable. I refuse to let myself fail. I refuse to not listen to what has been proven to be successful. And then, people that just don't want to implement the tools, like a three-way chat. Use the three-way chat. Put your people in a three-way chat. This has worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. Fallon made it work. Sally was talking about this on Saturday at the Michigan Plexus event, and they would have like 5 people in a chat because they just were like, here, let's all get in a chat, like 3 uplines worth in a newer person or 2. Like, they just didn't know what they were doing. And what we have found through them trialing and erroring is that three-way chats work. Putting posts up of testimonies about the products, testimonies about the business, your own story, as well as, like just sharing out of the box things, sharing about the incentives, sharing about how we're a community. Those are the things that work. When we only share about one thing over and over and over again, people drowned it out. And so you want to mix up what you're saying and paint that picture, as well as that being your open sign when you have your Plexus, when you're posting Plexus every day. People that don't treat it like a business. I think this is huge when people say, I only want X, Y, and Z, and then they are working towards that, but not in full force even to reach that goal, and then frustrated because they didn't achieve. And I think, she talks later about really, really, really shooting for the moon. And if you miss the moon, you're still landing upon the stars. Like, set higher goals because you're going to be further ahead than you even think. But when you just really are treating it hobby, inconsistent, not really putting full effort in, the pay isn't the same as when you're really treating it as a business. And you can treat it like a business for 1 hour a day. You can treat it like a business if you have something really horrible happening in your life or just something really busy for 15 minutes a day. You're studying for some big exam, or you need to take something extra training or something. At least touch your business for 15 minutes a day. You can be all in, and then and recognizing that that's temporary, and then you're going to bump up to having a more regular output pattern, right? And it's network marketing, not net hobby marketing, not net inconsistent marketing. Like, it's network marketing. So making it a priority. I really like how she said, okay, if you have 15 hours, I think 15 hours, 15 to 20 hours a week, spread out over 7 days, you guys, even if you want to take a day off over 6 days, is not unreasonable. It just isn't. There's so many things that we can do while we are doing other things. Like, she's 1.5 hours of our own personal training and coaching non-newbies. You know how many voice messages I leave while I'm like running around my house, cleaning the toilets, switching the laundry, putting on makeup, whatever. Do you know that we used to have to hold the button down in Messenger to leave a voicemail? You couldn't just hit it and like talk and set it down. Like, you had to hold the button down the whole time you were talking. And that was when you can only leave 1-minute messages. So you had to pay attention to when your minute was up. Otherwise, you keep talking, it quit recording, and you're like, oh, what did I say? Let me re-listen to this 1-minute message that you could not fast forward, blah, blah, blah. So don't say that you can't do this, because it's so much more efficient now with what tools we have. So 1.5 hours of our own personal training, 1.5 hours to 3-way calls. So this is something that I've been thinking about again, and that we really have to get back. Jackie and Rochelle and Jade are really, really good about doing 3-way calls. New join comes in, get them on the phone with the upline, get them on the phone. And then 12 hours of prospecting your people. I don't even use Instagram that much, Shoshana. I am mostly in Facebook. All these years in Facebook, I use Instagram to build stories. I use Instagram to make reels. I'll throw a post up on Instagram every now and again. If I have people that are talking to me in Instagram, I'll talk in there, but I mostly am back in Facebook. I have to keep my life simple. 12 hours of our own. And this is paying ourselves first. This is protecting our business first. This is protecting our output. And this is also where she talks about getting into management mode. It keeps us out of management mode because we're staying engaged with really training new people and really continuing to prospect. And she notes this business is blissfully flexible. So true. So, so true. I love that my Monday business hours can be different than my Tuesday, can be different from my Wednesday. When I was at work, my work was my work was my work schedule. There was no flexibility. And in fact, they made it extremely difficult for you to have any sort of flexibility. Like, hey, can I leave an hour early to go to a doctor's appointment since I'm a salaried employee and I have worked many hours extra over top of my 40? No, you'll have to take a half of a day or you can come in an hour earlier. Those were the answers that we got. So this is something I don't have to ask my boss. Hey, can I shift my IPA time from this time to this time this week? No, I get to decide that for myself, right? People that aren't willing to get uncomfortable, then they're not really going to grow. People that aren't willing to try new things, that aren't willing to go to the basics and then put their own personal flair on it. And this is when people can get into that management mode when they're not willing to get out of their comfort zone. So I got some people over here. I got some customers. Let me just stay over here helping them and not help more, not reach out more, not learn that next step in leadership. And then that can really negatively affect your business over time. And it can be variable. You might hang out like that for a while and then it could fall apart, but definitely over time, management mode is not the place to be. And then you have people that just are not hungry enough. People maybe that are very dependent on their own 9 to 5. They're dependent on their husband's income. They are comfortable with what they're doing and they're not hungry enough to make that change. Like I want the change really bad, but not willing to give up something. And she talks about that. I have notes on it, like giving up the TV, giving up reading magazines for fun. What did she say? I wasn't watching TV unless I was on a piece of cardiovascular equipment. Well, when I was before my gym where it's a class, you can't be on anything. I would use my gym time to be listening to my book, listening to YouTube training videos, reading. Like that was my time that was my time that I was still investing in my business. But anyway, chapter 2, why are you here? So if you're not willing, it's no, back up. It's not going to be a priority if you don't have a reason to be here. And I think sometimes when people don't see a ton of growth quick enough, they settle for a lesser why, and then it just spirals downhill of not having the desire to really, really dig in. And I think that, our why can evolve. It does evolve. She talks about that. It starts with like, what is this for me? How is this going to help me? That's where it definitely starts. Not, I should want this so that I can help relieve some stress from my husband's financial situation. I should want this because I should want to save money for my kids' college or something. I wanted to get some pedicures. I wanted to pay for my products. I wanted a little extra money to go shopping. And I wanted to do that without leaving my family. That was enough for me to get started. And then I saw, oh, well, I could actually do this and replace my income and then really be home with my family on the weekends. Like, okay, let me pay attention here, right? And it really just evolved more and more and then became, who can I help? Which ministries do I want to give to? Where do I want to give more money? And it really, for me, I'm not a dreamer, I'm a doer. I am like, it is laid out for me. I go to college, I become a PT, I go to work, I get paid. That is my role. And this business has really allowed me to dream again, right? So there's gonna always be something trying to nab at your time, like my kids. I love them. I've said I spent time with all of them today. And my husband, I haven't spent a ton of time with him, but I was like, okay, I gotta go do my call. And so I was in here finishing up making notes. And I have a kid come in. I love you, but you cannot talk to me book club starts in 7 minutes. Like this is not the time. And we have to have those boundaries. Like we have to have boundaries. We have to have the time. We have to schedule in family time. And it's really easy to react. It's really easy to react. Like so and so just invited us to a bonfire. So and so invited us here. The kids have this thing for school. It's really easy to just let your time be run by everything else. And it's a different story to say these are my business hours and this is the priority. And also, it shows your family and it shows your husband that this is important to you. This is not an example from the book, but there was a video, I think a diamond, a jewel was talking, and she said that her husband had said, like, she went down, had everything situated for the kids. And then she sat down to do her business hours, and her husband was like, hey, we need to go Jeep shopping. And she was like, oh, okay. And so she left her business to go Jeep shopping with her husband. And what it actually showed to him, though, was that this isn't important. This wasn't a priority to sit down and do her business. She could easily be distracted by him saying, hey, we need to do this. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't say, oh yeah, okay, we need to go Jeep shopping like right now. There's no other time to do it. This isn't Jackie either. Like Jackie just got a new Jeep. This is not her. But it's definitely worth a discussion, right? Like, hey, like, why is this all of a sudden urgent? Like, I had plans to work on my business right now. Well, this and this came up. And so and the guy that I really like to deal with is only there. Okay, well, my business is still important to me. So if I go with you to Jeep shop now, like, I'm going to need from 6 to 8 p.m. tonight to work on my business, which means you're going to have to do dinner tonight or something like that. Right. And I don't know I don't remember all the details of that video, but it just came to mind. Like we can say, okay. And then our husband realizes that this isn't actually important. This isn't a big deal. Sorry, Steve over there. This would be switch it. He would tell your wife like, yes, honey, I'm coming to go till the garden. Or whatever. Maybe she did want to go Jeep shopping. So anyway, it's just saying like, this is what I had planned for this time. So I'm going to need that time back versus getting up and running off and letting your husband see that it's not important. So, if the business isn't tied to something that you really want, and Jackie didn't have a huge why when she started. She saw that the products were helping her. She saw the products were helping her kids. She started sharing a little bit, put some posts out there. It took her a long time to actually go, oh, okay, I really want this out of this business. I really want this out of this business. It took a while, and that's okay. Like meet people where they're at, but really help them to dream big. Okay. Goals. So goals. We hear goals all the time. PT realm, OT realm, like goals. It's coming out in the corporate world, I feel, with these SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So if you're wanting to replace $10,000 a month in salary and you're working 6 hours a week, you probably are going to take quite a while, and you want to do that in 6 months. That's probably not realistic, right? So what is the specific goal? I want to be able to make enough to cover my pedicure a month, my supplements for my entire family every month, and spend $100 shopping a month. Okay. That's a specific goal. Now my goals are different. They're much higher. They're bigger. They're much more dream oriented, scary, right? Those 3 things that I listed, that's not that scary. That's pretty basic. And then measurable. How is that measurable? Okay, I need to make X amount of dollars to cover all of that. So how can I make that? Let's look at the comp plan. Let's look at how many joins I need. Let's look at how many people I need ordering every single month to make that amount every single month on a regular basis, right? Achievable. So I am willing to put in 15 hours a week. Okay, these are the business activities, 15 hours a week. That's going to work over time. And then realistic, kind of covered that with achievable, and then time bound. I would like to do this within 5 months. Pretty reasonable, right? So kind of looking at those things, this is why you have an upline. This is why we're here to help you. We help you with the goal piece. How can we help gauge where you're at and make that happen? Going for incentives. If you do not have sweep cruise contest on the top of your dream board, your planner, your cruise notebook, whatever right now, then you are not dreaming big enough in your business whatsoever. You're not giving yourself enough credit. You should always want to sweep these contests, and they're doable to sweep these contests. They are designed for a brand new person to come in and sweep a contest. So why wouldn't you, who you're on the call, you're putting in effort, you have some knowledge of this business already, if you're listening to this, you can sweep this contest too. So if that is not your goal, then you're not dreaming big enough at all. And the other thing is, I hear all the time, well, I don't care about shopping sprees, or I don't care about this or that. Well, somebody cares about a shopping spree. I mean, wouldn't it be cool to give your mom like one of those cuddle love robes that are like $200 or something for Christmas, and the matching slippers and a new tea kettle or whatever she wants? Like, okay, I want a $2,000 shopping spree. I want to buy my daughter Birks so she quits trying to steal mine. And then if she ruins them, she ruins her own, not mine, right? Like, or I'll get new ones and she can have the old ones. I don't know. There's just, why wouldn't you want a shopping spree? And why wouldn't you want to reach those people in your network that want a shopping spree? Okay. Focus on the process of meeting the goal too. So like, we can't control people joining our business, but we can control how many people we're talking to, how many business posts we're putting up a week, how many product testimony posts we're putting up a week, how many stories that we're, sharing a week. Like, we can control that. We can control how many people we are reaching out to and following up with every week. So focusing on those things as well is going to be more rewarding than saying, well, I want 3 people to join me this week. And then how do you really measure that? You have to be talking to people. And until you know, okay, I can talk to 50 people and I get 1 join, then you kind of know what your numbers are too, right? Like, kind of figuring that out. Everyone kind of has a different number, I would say, of that sweet spot of then getting those joins out of how many reaching out you're doing. She says to pray to the universe. I'm going to say we're going to pray to the Lord to bring people into our business that need this opportunity and need these products, because He is bigger. He is the one that has our best interest in mind. And just having more conversations. So there we go. And I kind of talked about this, like, what are you willing to give up? So getting buy-in from the family, like, hey, we're going to do a crock pot meal on Mondays, whatever. Like, you're going to say there might be some changes around here. She used Costco meal assembly to spend less time with all the cooking tasks and things. Maybe you're learning to batch cook differently. I kind of talked about that in the Gut Health Inspire Wholeness group. I'm gonna mess them up. The old Gut Health, Happiness, and Beyond. Like, how can I make healthy meals quickly? Look up some quick ways to do that. Rewiring our brain, remembering that we do not have a plastic brain. We have neuroplasticity. Sorry, that was not wrong. We don't have a cement brain. We have neuroplasticity. We have the ability to change our thought patterns, our goals. We have the thought life, our, positive thoughts, all of that. We can change that. Coach told Ella today, she was like, I'm really weak. They were doing speed work. I'm really weak. I think I just don't feel right. And he goes, your body's going to try to tell you that this isn't okay, but you can push through it. You can be stronger. You can tell your body, no, I'm designed to run fast and I'm going to do it. And that's exactly it. Our brain is going to say, no, that person might say no to you. And so don't say that. No, because that excitement that you get when you think about talking to someone and what they might say to you, that's the same excitement you get when they say yes. It's the same firing in your brain. So flip the script. Okay. Yeah. And I really think, thinking, what can I give up? And then she talks about 18 to 24 months, hard work, 18 to 24 months before you get to say, no, right? Like, you don't get to put 1 post up after saying, I want to be a diamond, and then give up. We don't give up. Okay. And then chapter 3, she just talks, and on page 40, take the action of really writing your why, journaling through that. I hope that you all did that. So maybe some of you can share that when we get to that discussion part. I'm trying to get through this. Okay, and then chapter 3, making your list. The dirt list. I love the dirt list. I love telling people like, okay, let's make a dirt list for you. A dirt list, yeah, like who would buy dirt from you? Your mom, your grandma, your best friend, your sister, your husband, your mother-in-law, like who is just gonna support you? Who is gonna support you? And so starting there, great place to start. And then really just thinking about who your chicken list is. And she says, go after it. Go after reaching out to your chicken list. Get that out of the way. And then she had her one friend recruited herself, her chicken lister recruited herself. That is not normal. Do not expect that all these chicken listers that you have out there are just going to come to you. I hope so. I really do. I hope you have that much influence, please. Like, that would be incredible. What a great story, right? Like, my friends just come to me. That's probably more of a Celeste Gwen, but even her, she had to talk to her friends and say, I think this could really help you. All of her college friends are her diamonds. All of her level 1 diamonds are like her college best friends. And she really had to say, like, I see you. I see you working your job. I see you trying to care for your special needs son. Like, let's get you some extra money. Let's get you to the top. So anyway, that's not normal, but really cool. So I really hope that happens to all of us. Nothing to lose. And it's kind of like when your kids are in middle school and they're like, oh, I can't believe I said that stupid thing. My boys aren't really like that. It's more with the girls, but I can't believe I said this dumb thing. Everyone is remembering it. I can't believe that they remember this. They're going to look at me weird tomorrow. I'm so upset. Okay, no, like everyone has already forgotten about it. Everyone but you. So you need to forget about it too. Like, stop making stuff up in your head about what people are going to say. If you're like, hey, I'd like to figure out if this might be a good fit for you, might be worth your effort. Like, don't you owe it to yourself to kind of look into what I'm doing, right? Okay. She has where she just is adding all the time, glass blowing with your kids, park pool party, like all these events. And if you are going with the intention of making connections, getting contact information, and being a listener to say, because she gives examples like, oh, you might want to look into what I'm doing. I see that you're struggling. This could be something that could help you build a vacation fund and eventually replace some income. Why don't we connect tomorrow morning during nap time? What time is good for you? You can see if it's a good fit for you, right? Not sleazy when you're saying stuff like that. But my caution to my blues out there is we can be so busy going to all of the things and doing all of the things that then we don't make enough time for our business. Okay. And so that's the caution. Like, should you be social? Should you be expanding your network? Yeah. But if you are so busy that you are gone all of the time and you're not actually doing your business, then you need to scale back somewhere. It's kind of like one of those, what are you willing to give up in order to have time for this business? Okay. So that's probably more for the blues. You greens, you all need to go to all the social things. Okay. Because you'd get invited to 3 and you would do like one of them. And us blues get invited to 3 and we try to go to 4. Like, that's just us. Yes. And then I love that. Picking your brain. She says, I'd like to pick your brain, right, on this new thing that I'm doing. And that was really good. So there's just tons of examples on page 53 and 52, 53. You're not vomiting all over them, which is so tempting because we're so excited about what we have, right? But my business is expanding. I'd love to pick your brain sometime about who you know might be a good fit for what I do. Let's exchange some contact information. And then you're like, oh, I love that sweater you have on your daughter. Like, where did you get it? After you get the information, right? Like, don't dwell on this stuff. Plant the seed, get the information, and do the follow-up, right? Do the follow-up. We've been hearing about that a lot too. Offering a resource, like, that's branding right now. We've had several calls on branding yourself on social media. It's like, hey, this is my shoe review. Hey, this is the razor I decided on and I really like it. Tracy asked about planners and I know she's like, what do you like about your planners? I'm like, I will tell you about that later. I'm too tired to do that right now, but she was trying to get engagement on her post, right? So I appreciate that. I'm sorry, Tracy. I still didn't go back and do that. But I will. So when I get my new planner, then I can talk about that. I'm sharing a resource. I'm sharing what works for me. We're sharing recipes. We're sharing the toothpaste, all the things. So anyway, that really kind of touched on the branding thing too, that we've been talking about it. It comes up in this chapter. So now that I've talked way too much, who has some great things to share with us? I did not cover it that well. I left so many things out.
Okay. So, um, so and my internet's weird, so if I get weird, let me know. But I like how you stop to think, and it's as easy to talk yourself out of something as it is to talk yourself into something. But for some reason, we're so more prone to talk ourselves out of it, right? Um, and then it's a lot easier to do that if we don't have a reason why. And Elizabeth was, hit the nail on the head. When I first started this, I did not have a big why. I was like, okay, whatever, and then as I started to see successes and different things, I was like, oh, okay, and building. And that's why it's really important too to fill your brain with the book clubs, with the team calls, with reading Diamond Docs, with seeing those different things, because sometimes we don't have enough belief in ourselves or and the opportunities that are out there. So using some of those things and connecting to some of those and sharing those with other people is huge, because we don't always realize the opportunities that we have available. And when we don't realize that, we're not necessarily willing to work for it. It's a lot easier to turn something down like, oh, yeah, I have this tonight, which is stupid. Or I have this tonight, which seems really important, but it's not, and you start to look at long term and kids getting older and parents getting older and all those things, or getting sick, or what if the world does weird things and shuts down and all of a sudden you don't have a job for 6 months or whatever. Having this has been such a saving grace for so many people. That why should be huge, because we don't get opportunities like this elsewhere. So it's just something that I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm. And Jackie was really into helping other people though. Like if Lauren needed help, other workers, needed help, she was all about that. And she definitely did her IPA consistently. Even before she had a big why, she was doing her IPA. Like we were messaging each other at like 11:30 at night, like, why are you still up? I couldn't sleep. I'm sending messages. Yeah, me too. Well, we need to go to bed. Like we just were so excited to just help people. And honestly, I think we've had so many trainings, sometimes we overthink because of that. Like just I did not send the best messages, I am sure of it, when I started. I used to send like huge messages. Well, I still got joins. People are still looking for this. You're not going to say the wrong thing to the right person. And it's kind of like how she said, write down everyone you know that has skin. And because it's skincare. Well, write down everyone you know that breathes and has a gut, because that's everyone, right? What was it that she said? That we all know an average of, all that research and all the numbers she pulled out, 152 to 165 people. And I feel like it's way more with social media, because you can keep in contact with so many more people in an easier fashion, right? Than to try to like send Christmas cards once a year. Like, okay. Like that's not really staying in touch, right? It's old school, it's traditional. I love that. But if you're just exchanging a Christmas card once a year and it's just a card, not a family picture and like the little family letter, then how do you really know what's going on with people, right? So social media is such a gift to have. And I also wrote down, what are we willing to give up? Like, are we willing to give up this scrolling on our phones? Because it's easy to get sucked into that. All these cute dog videos, y'all. Like, I need more dogs now. I got one dog and 4 kids. I need more dogs. Like, that's what I do. One thing's good and I like it and they're cute. I have more.
So I was right there too. I didn't have a huge why when I started. I started for the products. I was like, oh, this is gut health. I need that. And then, I think for me it was the walk a mile, see a mile. The okay, oh, this book club looks interesting. I'll join that and see what, oh, they're talking about John Maxwell, leadership. I love leadership. And so you see a little bit more and you see a little bit more, which is a great reason to be on these calls, the book clubs and the team calls on Monday night. And then in chapter 2, which kind of hit me, right upside the head, because I tell my kids all the time, aim for the stars and you land among the moon. And we should be aiming for the stars with our goals. Dream big, because if you miss your goal, oh, you hit the moon. Congratulations. That's awesome too. So yeah, that one smacked me up the side of the head. Like, yeah, hello, practice what I preach so that I'm setting an example for my kids, setting an example for my team to dream big, because you never know.
And it's so true. Like, look at Brittany Howard. She was one of Fallon's level ones that like quit. I think she got to gold or almost to gold, and then she quit for like 18 months or something because she is very green. And so she was like learning and reading and studying and all this stuff. And then she joined in, and then she was pretty slow and steady growth, slow and steady growth. And like, Christina, she was a teacher. She was like, I'm a teacher. That's what I am. I love it. Why would I want something different? And like and Fallon, like these incredible businesses, and they are normal people, y'all. They are just normal people. And so if they can do it, we can do it. So why wouldn't we want that? Kinley Stebbins, Jackie, what's her name? She was like
Finley Severance, yeah.
Severance. She went diamond, or she went emerald relatively quickly. She went emerald and then she went diamond sapphire. No, sapphire diamond in the same year, this last year. And she is like, she said, wasn't she on the stage this year at convention? And she said, I'm going to be a 15-star diamond next year. She doesn't have anybody telling her no. There's no voice inside her head saying you can't do that. So why are we letting ourselves think, oh, I can't do that? Yeah, we can. Yes, you can. We can have the hunting blind of our dreams with a flush toilet in it if we want, right? Y'all that hunt, Jackie, Steve, let's look at those. And Jackie's got a nice blind, a couple of them. She's got some nice setup out there, but I'm sure you could improve on it, right, Jackie? So why wouldn't we? What did Celeste say? Celeste was helping her daughter wedding plan, and she's like, she really attributed being able to give her daughter her dream wedding because of this business. Celeste is just such an example to look up to because she has no financial reason to work right now, and she does. In her Plexus business, she gives significantly to Kenya, to that ministry her dad started. Like, she just is such a giver, such a heart, and she is just like, of course I'm going to talk about this, because what about the mom who can't feed her kids? Like, what's kind of our duty to be talking about it so people know that this is an option for them to have that financial relief. So anyway, I really thought I left a lot of blank spots out, y'all. And everyone's quiet tonight or something.
one other thought I had too, as you were talking about like just duty and being in the habit, not only like finding the habit of working and not telling yourself no, but showing up like your family, it's a priority, not just so that they don't like ignore your business and you do all the other things, but also setting the example too for them that they can do hard things and reach their own goals too. I've been also listening to this audiobook about the habits of the household. And like in the morning, if you always have the, we got to rush, 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 we're behind leaving late, like, of course, that's what they're going to know and what they're going to live up to. So if you show them, like, I want to do this work, but I never actually reach my goals or never actually sit down and work when I say I'm going to work, like, how are they going to learn this too and learn those skills? And then doing some of these things, like when they're watching too, not always like leaving it off for after bedtime too with my kids too. I heard it from Elizabeth, don't always do the chores after bedtime because they have to learn how to do those same things too. So I've been trying to do the same thing with my business to have them, not for an hour forever while I come home for work because they want to play too, but making, 15-minute chunk of I can sit down and do something that's important to me and then we can move on and do whatever is important to you too. But we all deserve our own goals and to work towards what we want.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. I mean, I used to sit in the afternoon, different times. You guys, I've talked so many times about how I've scheduled my time with little kids and school age kids. The hardest thing for me has been to work Monday through Friday because I have never worked Monday through Friday since I was pregnant when I took my weekend job with my first kid. I never had little kids. I never had kids and worked Monday through Friday. So that has been probably my hardest transition for myself. And so anyway, but I would say, okay, you're going to play Play-Doh or you're going to play this. I directed what they were doing so they couldn't just run around and jump off the couch and act like crazy people, right? I didn't have to monitor that. I could say, this is what you're doing and I'm going to help some people and I'm going to work on my computer or I'm going to read my book while you guys play, stuff like that so that they could see me working, but also I was with them. Like they could still show me their Play-Doh creation. They could still engage with me. But again, it was, you can play on your own. I can do this work kind of thing, and definitely do not do chores when your kids are in bed ever. I've never done chores when my kids have been in bed. Maybe here and there, like finish something up, but they went around the house with me and worked when they were really little and little babies. And they learned as they grew up what I'd give them little tasks to do because I wasn't going to spend my free time when they were in bed doing chores. No way. But I need that book too, Melissa, this Habits of the Household. And it's so true. Like I have good systems, and when I'm in good systems, I have good systems. And if a system goes awry and it's like, oh, then everything tumbles into like you said, the rushing and the poor expectations and things like that. So was that a Fallon book? Has she done that one? Like, has she talked about it that she's read it?
I don't know where I heard. Oh no, it was my church group,
Okay.
my church mom friends that did it. And it's very Christian based too. I was sold on like the first 5 minutes of listening.
That's
So
awesome.
I highly recommend it.
Awesome. You should do a post about it. And maybe you did and I missed it.
I think I only put it in my stories so far. So it was on my list to circle back. And it's
Awesome.
enough where I'm listening on audio and I'm going back and I bought it because there's so many, like, I need to highlight that and read that again.
Oh, that is really good. Maybe you
So
should put that on the
fun.
team page too
Okay.
for the young moms out there or the old moms like me and Jackie.
Even dads would be helpful.
Okay. All right. Well, anybody else have something that stood out to them? Dying to share?